on the top left-hand side, playing yellow, the human player from South Korea, it is Sok.
And on the bottom right, you all know him from Russia. The winner of 7 DreamHacks in a row is happy. Is Sok ready for the unstoppable force that is Happy? We have seen on Monday that Chemico was trying to threaten Happy in the ESL Cup final, in the very last ESL Cup final. There was a lot of hype around that. Now the Koreans are coming to the European server. Can they conquer the European Cup? Nope. 3-0, less than an hour. Easy games.
Yeah, but it's before a big tournament. Like, you should always take these games with a grain of salt because, you know, there can be some hiding of strategies going on and all that. And obviously, like I said, I think Sok against Death Knight, in my opinion, in the past, many times has looked more convincing than Chemico. So we'll see if that's the case here. Sok, he does a lot of very good things here that he actually innovated on. Like, he was one of the first guys to start walling off at the expansion with the second barracks. And that's not to, you know, go into rifles or like go into a ton of footmen. It's just to have a little bit of extra part of his wall off because he knows he's going to need that second racks anyway to go into Knights. Sok and Chemico were the first 2 guys as well to buy that Staff of Teleportation and really threaten the Acolytes because they were like, well, if I stand on my Expo, I'm just getting sieged the entire game. Not only is it pretty boring, also it doesn't achieve much, you know, to just play a defense of the Expo and Peasants. So they counter-threaten the Undead main base, and they do that so well. And that's something where if Happy makes one single mistake, and of course he never makes many, that could put him behind to the point where Human can snowball out of control.
Exactly. On the other side, there is a certain threat in Happy's games, and that is the Acolyte, and that is definitely Skeletons, because nobody in the world is better at last hits with tiny little units, and if he steals the big one from the expansion camp or from the marketplace, you can't let that happen. Focus the Acolyte, focus the Skeletons, don't give them the chance, and it has become a little bit of a meme, but it still remains true. Items in this early game, super important. That's why the humans are rushing the marketplaces here and on Northern Isles. But if we look at Sok left-hand side, Archmage already with a Claw, good start.
Yeah, it's night and day. Between Ring and Claw here, it's like the best possible item or the worst ones. Footman gets surrounded here. And that's going to be a bit of extra experience fed to Happy. You really can't let that happen here.
Yeah.
Sok with the first mishap in this game. The winner of this match, by the way, will face Soin or Cruncher in the winner's match, and Soin's currently up 1-0 against Cruncher. That's been shown on the B stream, which is Slashor with a 4 instead of the A on Twitch, if you guys want to catch that.
Watermental pretty hurt, and that Footman is a big deal, because that's a guaranteed level 2 for Happy right away. The Unholy Aura is already regenning everything. Now, going for this gold mine, which is relatively easy to creep. Happy, of course, power creeping, decent inventory. He's also a big fan of the marketplace. And now, from here on out, Sok is in trouble. He will be under pressure until he reaches tier 3, which is probably for the next 10 minutes if he survives that long.
Yeah, there's a lot of mana saved up on the DK. That's always nice here to try and get some of these peasant snipes. He's going to have a triple death code to work with. But only one charge from Road of Necromancy. We've seen him go for backpack a lot in the past, but here he actually chose not to. That's interesting. Maybe he thought that getting a few peasants in the start is enough. He doesn't need to overcommit to killing more and more. And he actually breaches that location above the tower here. He got past with the Skellies. So those peasants now, the other ones that are trapped in there with the Skellies, Sok trying to salvage the situation. One more peasant will go down here.
I think that makes it 3. There's new militia here, and the DK retreats as he has no mana no more. Goes back, pays attention to what Sok is doing, of course. Steps back and gets a new Rod of Necromancy, and then comes in with a second wave of aggression. How much damage was that?
Hey, it's annoying because there was a bit of mining time, building time lost when he moved the peasants. Obviously not that much, but yeah, losing 3 peasants, it might not seem like it's the end of the world. But they have to be replaced usually with peasants from the main base, and then you lose a lot of number because of this. So we'll see the timing on the tech. Yesterday we saw some very late techs from Human that were struggling. You know, sometimes like I look more at the in-game time because usually when you're playing, that's the only one that you see. You don't actually see like, you know, the 4-minute 55 seconds timer at the top. And in-game time, an early tech could be as early as 23 o'clock, which we just hit right now. If you look at the number of Sok, he's actually kind of close to taking very soon, so that could end up being pretty good for him. Yes, he lost a couple of peasants, but I think he built up his peasant count very well as well.
Yeah, it's around the... If you take around the 6-minute mark, maybe a tiny bit later, that should in general be fine. Archmage made it to the marketplace, got the second claw, and that makes the defense a lot easier. Yes, he got a ringer as well. Didn't even sell it, keeps it for later for the MK. I like that. DK grabs up a couple of gifts for the upcoming Lich, and he's already level 3. That's a little bit of a different approach by Happy compared to what we are usually seeing, I think. Not the ultra aggression, but high-level coil, and oh my god, he's punishing this Archmage right away.
Yeah, when Happy gets this fast a level 3 DK, he's always going to target the Archmage quite a bit because he knows it's very hard to heal up. Sock overcommitting on the surround attempts. If he can't land any, this is going to be a disaster here. The Lich getting closer to finishing as well. Could easily pick up a Roll of Necromancy or Mana Potion as well that you can then give to the Death Knight. And he hasn't been able to land a single round. Forces the Town Portal without the Lich being there. It's a disaster for Sock, who doesn't have the Arcane Vault yet.
And there's a Water Elemental surrounded, so it's more experience for the DK. I agree. That was not the right decision-making by Sock. Saw an opportunity where there was none. And this TP being gone, we saw it yesterday on the other foot when X-Lord was losing the TP super early against Chemico. That almost broke his game. Speaking of X-Lord, Sock was the practice partner of X-Lord prior to yesterday. They played 30+ games together, so very, very well prepared is Sock. But is that enough?
Happy didn't buy a Roll of Necromancy nor a Mana Pot.
What?
And he's doing the new thing that he's been doing for a while. Like once upon a time, every time Happy reached tier 2, he would start tier 3 instantly. And then go for Lich when he was on 25 out of 30, then get Slaughterhouse. But nowadays, he stays on tier 2 a while, gets Slaughterhouse, gets one more Ziggurat so that he can make more Fiends and statues earlier for that push to be as strong as possible. Just because he's so good at saving everything. And his statues are going to replenish him on hit points and mana as well. He can just keep trading really well and prevent human from getting as many towers as they want. Make them lose lumber. Make them lose more lumber. Don't let them go into castle tech with everything that they need. Even break down that shop, which a lot of the time here would have been a barracks, but now could get sieged in a second. The Archmage goes around.
Nice.
There's only one coil. Which one does he save? Is this like Batman?
He has plus 15, but slows him down with the Nova. No coil ready. Can Happy deny this?
TP?
Not
he has
really.
No TP.
Yeah, it's a scary Nova dead. Just like that.
He killed the Fiend though. Cup half full.
No, is it half though? It's a little short maybe, but oh boy.
Don't tempt in sub.
Sock needs a little injection in this game, that's for sure. Archmage back from the tavern, very expensive. This delays tier 3. Mountain King coming, he gets the improved lumber upgrade to try to get tier 3, but man, Happy is gaining momentum with every minute.
Sock is stuck on tier 2.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem here. Like he needs to start castle as soon as that tier 2 finishes, but he prioritized the Mountain King instead. And that instant revive was so costly here for him. He shouldn't have overextended against the one Fiend Happy. He might have lost 2 units, but it definitely feels like he won that battle. And that Lich is stacked already.
Yeah.
By the way, with the double circlet, Glover faced,
and you know what Happy got from the marketplace? The big mana potion. We are used to seeing this item in his inventory.
Has he ever found anything? At this point, he must think that's the only drop that's available.
It has become quite a meme, rightfully so.
Imagine he finds a big invul and he pauses the game. He's like, what is this?
This is like bug, wrong color. Sock is being overly aggressive, I think. He has no chance in these engagements, right?
He's just trying to damage the statues and slow down the creeping of the undeads. It might feel like he's feeding footmen, but I think he's trying to threaten the units. Force coils as well, because if the DK runs out of coils and you still have some bolt, you might be able to kill Fiends. Usually there is Burrow, though, to prevent that there eventually.
Doesn't have it yet. Okay, Stormbolt, how much damage can you do? Archmage again has to retreat, and all that investment into the Archmage's damage, it doesn't really show just yet. Also in the first engagement that we had in the similar position to this one. No. You don't think that Happy would lose the statue in the mid-game, would you?
No, it happens very rarely.
Oh, Pit Lord.
Okay, he's gonna push. I think maybe because he just killed so much and he realizes that the tech might have been like he might be able to read the game so well that he knows the castle started later than usual.
There's no tower at all. The peasants are already ready to repair, but I wonder if that is gonna help you. Oh, he can breach. That's a little wonky.
He could actually just go in and use his Pit Lord in a little choke here like X-Lord did earlier.
Yeah. This is so hard to engage into for Sock.
Oh, the statue. That one's gonna die.
Okay then, but what about the rest? Once again, Rain of Fire. He's hurting his own units a tiny bit. Mountain King only level 1 is not really a threat, and that is GG. Absolute dominance in game 1.
He lost to Fiend.
And is that you? Is that the standards we have? Is he only allowed to play perfect
It's
games?
better than I've done in most games against Happy, I'll tell you that. So respect, Sock, respect to you.
You know what? This puts the perspective, the performances of a Blade, of a Johnny Cage, of a Hawk into perspective. They fought so hard, tooth and nails, and make this game 20 plus minutes. Sock, apparently not on that level.
Yeah, at least not this game. And honestly, the drops were okay.
Yeah.
Like, he got a claw first, then of course he got a ring second. That's a bit annoying, but then of course you can shop for more items. And yeah, I think just the Death Knight being allowed to get to level 3 as quickly as it did was a big part of the problem there. He didn't seal off the peasants at the expo well enough. I think that was the biggest problem. Once the skeletons got in and you get 3 kills, you know, it's experience that the opponent's gaining, it's slowing down your tech. The tech timing wasn't too bad either. It's just that the Death Knight somehow, like, it might seem in the start like Happy's creeping too much and not being aggressive enough, but that's what this achieves for him. He gets like 2.1, then he gets closer to 3 but with some peasant kills, then he secures the 3 in the center, and that DK we saw already, he started coding the Archmage from close to full HP.
Yeah, if you give Happy a finger, he rips off your arm. We sent you guys into a tiny little break, and then we'll see if he advances with 2-0 or if Sock can strike back.
The DreamHack WarCraft Free Championship is brought to you by Norton Gaming and Coinbase.
The last remaining hope for the Undead Scourge is showing up strong. 10 minutes, 30 seconds. That was enough to kick Sock off of Tidehunters. And now we're moving on to Happy's home turf. It's getting cold on Northern Isles.
Yeah, very often his pick, his favorite map for the longest time, and the one that is performed best against human. For some time, some humans have started vetoing it, but then I think they learned how to play on it a little bit better, and now we don't see it get vetoed as much as being as prioritized. So that's why we're seeing it here. Starting in the bottom left-hand side of the map, playing as the yellow human from South Korea, it is Sock.
And in the upper right-hand side, #1 in the worldwide ELO ranking with a difference of 175 points to the second place is Happy. I am really curious what Sock has prepared here. It's probably going to be an expansion once again, as it always is an expansion. Happy's going to push this and it's going to be scary. But if Sock survives this, is there a potential for tanks? Is there a potential for maybe even a Zeppelin drop?
Yeah, maybe. I think the staff threats before that can also be really good. But first and foremost, just try and not lose too many peasants at the expo. That's really the hardest thing here to achieve. So we'll see if he's able to tug those peasants in, because Happy doesn't seem like he's prioritizing harassment while humans creeping the expo, which for the longest time was the standard. Nowadays, Undeads, they understood that, you know, you save up a bunch of mana, so you have coils to coil the peasants, you have skellies that do a lot of damage, you take down even just 3 peasants. We saw last game how much it affected Sock. And again, his tech timing wasn't the worst, it's just that it was enough damage to slow him down a little bit and also gave experience to Happy to reach level 3 early enough that it was going to be key.
Yeah. Don't lose the footman. Don't lose any creeps. You can't allow a mistake in the early game, because that has a great ripple effect into the mid and late game. It's of course going to be a DK once again. Happy is not a one to play Crypt Lord or any other shenanigans, and there's no other choice than to play this Archmage. Okay, this Acolyte, we already have to pay attention to that. I love that Sock is immediately taking it out. Like, no chance you steal my nulls.
He's actually going to get the XP. Wow, that's really strange.
Yeah, Happy
didn't react. I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if Happy loses even less than 2 units this game in the Statue and Fiend that he lost last game.
He has won already.
Well, to be honest, the Acolyte doesn't really count as much as a Fiend or a Statue. So we'll see.
The big threat here always, the Undead is leveling. He's getting a lot of skeletons, and then he's pushing with like 5 to 6 skeletons and charges still left on the rod. So you have to build your expansion pretty much perfectly, protect all the peasants, have little bouncers in the niches, and I wonder how well Sock can do this. He was once an innovator and master of that art.
Yeah, it's really the key. He's not going to wait for nights. It's 1740. Night is at 18 o'clock. He sees that the DK wouldn't be in position. He still engages the expo while it was day. So that means he's going to take extra damage on his peasants. Unless he wants to send those back home. Yeah, okay, he's doing that with one of the really low ones. But yeah, we saw it's not so much about just losing peasants, but the experience that they provide to Happy. That also was a problem last game. That DK is 2.0. We'll see what the experience is going to be here when he leaves that area. And this time he shows up not with just 1 roll of Necromancy, but with 2 charges.
Okay, first one used already. Double Gloves of Haste. It's a decent damage, but on the other side we have Gloves and Claws. Throws a aggressive coil on that DK early on. Rare to see that. Leaves the peasants alone for now, as there are still corpses. He can use a Rod of Necromancy.
This was maybe the wrong move actually by Happy, because Archmage has Replenishment Potion. So he can get back to decent health. The first peasant is going to go down. There's still quite a few coils available. Archmage is almost 3 here. A few more skellies would do it. And Happy really wants to target that mage. This is unusual.
Block is coming in. Could just focus it, but then he has to stop, of course, as well.
Oh my god, he's got false TP.
This is so crazy. He needs a DK and he needs a skeleton, and he forces a town. Is he chasing?
Yeah.
Oh no, there's of course no shop. Whew, thank the lords for this replenishment potion now.
X-Lord has nothing to do with this.
All the lords.
It's pretty sick, actually, that the Archmage got out. This is so good for Sock, I almost want to say. Like, his Archmage got targeted, it lived, he used the potion, it didn't get cancelled, and now he lost 1 or 2 peasants so far.
Yeah, it's interesting that Happy has a very different approach than he has in his normal games. First on Titanhunters as well, that super early level 3, maybe that was influenced by this early footman kill, but also here, it's not all out 6 skelly aggression onto the workers, but really trying to pummel this Archmage.
Last game, the tech started quite a bit later than now. Like, I think it was around midnight in game time, which we just reached now, and we see the keep already started at around 23 o'clock. So slightly earlier timing this time around for Sock, and he lost less peasants. His Archmage got targeted, it lived, and most important, remember last game, shortly after this time here, Happy retreated to the center of the map, he crept level 3. Now he's 2.1. He barely got any experience. That's because he committed to an Archmage that he was never gonna kill.
That was indeed a questionable move, but maybe we'll see what that was for later. Lich is coming, Slaughterhouse is coming, tier 3 therefore a little delayed, and they see each other again at the marketplace. Archmage coming in from the back is of course a great damage dealer, and the DK pretty low on hit points. It's of course a nice way of threatening Happy back and buy time for your expansion where he had 1 to 2 peasant losses, but not more.
Yeah, this is one of the better maps for that Happy build as well, where you stay on tier 2 longer. Like we see, he's not starting tier 3 just yet. He's on 30 out of 30, but that Zig will finish, and as soon as that happens, he's gonna start a Fiend immediately and a Statue. So then instead of having the usual 3 Fiends, you have the 4th one much earlier, you have the Statue helping out so much, and your Siege is just so effective in forcing towers, making the human panic. I mean, he's broken Hawk so many times on this map, just doing this single push.
Wonder if Sock has something prepared for the later stages. Once you survive, you have a little bit of decision freedom, I guess. What are you going for and how you want to reach that super late game. Defend, not ready, but now it is. Lich getting almost surrounded here. If he gets it, that's a big move for Sock. Oh, but now he's losing a lot, not getting it locked in.
Happy is so slippery, this is ridiculous. It's like playing Mario Kart and putting like some banana peels behind him or something. Like that must have been a surround against every single player in the world except maybe Happy somehow. I cannot believe he got out of this. Gets another footman here thanks to a coil and target. But yeah, this first statue needs to get there. Happy actually, I said he was going to make a statue and Fiend and then maybe after that tech, but then he teched first, so that delayed his statue and Fiend anyway. He's making quite a few mistakes this game. The overcommitment on the Archmage was a little strange. I think forcing the TP was good, by the way. But after that, I think he should have ran to the Expo and killed a lot of peasants, because Archmage couldn't help. But instead, he chased the Archmage, which he then didn't get.
Now we see the impact of the first statue. This is the best moment in the Undead game. But Archmage still hits like a truck. Happy has to pull back. Sock wants to get something, at least. Not only mana, not only time. 1 kill would be excellent, but how to get it when you have your mana spent and only 4 footmen left on the field. Tier 3 has started. Mountain King again earlier than the tech.
I think Sock is winning. I'm going to say it. I think he's winning this game.
What if he doesn't?
Why you do this to me?
Just the costume.
It's already online for like... Sure, why not?
Yeah, he has a good... This is looking miles and miles better than game 1. But, you know, it's still the same thing. You can have a great early game. You can have a great mid game. If you do one mistake in the early late game, you're still gonna get crushed.
Yeah. Well, when you do this well in the early game, it's much harder to do a mistake. Like his castle timing here is really good. It really depends. Like if Sock can do well in the next minute or 2 and doesn't take a lot of damage needlessly, I think he's going to be in a great spot. DK is 2.8. There's a Book of the Dead.
Oh, Archmage, Lich, both in trouble. Coil is ready and Archmage fights out.
There are still bolts, more bolts than there are death coils here.
Can he force something? No burrow yet to dodge this.
I think the boots probably belong on the MK. Remember that the Archmage doesn't have TP, by the way, which is one of the best escapes here if you go on low on hit points. So if DK gets 3, that Archmage might just explodes.
Lich with the counter block to keep the DK safe. Also Frost Armor. Quite a good brawl. Also deny. Everybody realizes by now how important it is to keep experience away from your opponent. And Sock is floating quite a bit of gold, 1,000, which I think is okay. He did spend a bit. He's not banking as hard as a Chemico, for example, does, with like 2,000, 2.4k.
He should have spammed Footman now. That would be bad. He should better save that for the Pala, Orb, Staff. He could maybe buy something from the marketplace to try and live.
What's he doing with his MK? He's surrounded there. Is he?
Can he buy? Can we click on the marketplace?
I don't think so.
Oh, there was Anki could have bought there. Or even Ring of Regen. Oh
MK
no!
Just falls. There was so much gold and he didn't spend it. Maybe not worth it as only a level 1 hero. But here comes Happy with the Pit Lord. And what is Sock doing? This Archmage to stop moving for a bit. And another coil definitely lining up. Can he reach? Not really. But Sock needs to stall more time. First Knights in production, Breakers in production, Gyros in production. But I don't think that's enough yet. 10 minutes 30, exactly the same timing as on game 1.
Sock doesn't need to fight instantly. He should try and be patient and delay the potential fight as long as possible. And he has to run to the expo, grab Staff, grab Orb. Web is on the way now for Happy. He's going to Rain of Fire that. The Mountain King could be in danger, gets targeted immediately. Archmage needs to run from the expo with Staff. And Staff that if he can, but he doesn't have Staff yet. Oh no.
Hard to get past the Pit Lord, of course. Instant dieback. Back to the altar. And yeah, that is delayed now. Oh, the Paladin is queued. Mountain King behind. Doesn't have the resources for a Tavern Revive. What is he supposed to do?
He's supposed to hit this army one time and then run away and say, follow me. You're it. And hope it works.
That would be quite fun. But only the heroes are following.
He should have instant revived the Mountain King, I think. Because this altar will go down. So just kind of accept that. Go for Paladin. Try to evacuate. If you can't staff it, then it will be... I'm assuming it will staff behind the wall, but you never know. Sometimes it's not so cooperative. He's trying to save the altar. Okay, needs Militia then. He's planning to have some Knights. With 2 Knights, you can really threaten those Fiends, but he didn't buy Orb, he only bought the Staff.
Fiends really hurt. Statue taken out. Okay, Sock is finding his way back, slowly but steady, and with big losses in the meantime. The Gyros were there at the right time. The Knights are able to connect now. No Frost Armor at the moment, as the Lich is so low on mana. He actually has mana. Quite surprising to not see more Frost Armor here.
Yeah. Pacing himself, just trying to get away from this here because there was not a bolt thrown in a while as Mountain King was in the altar, but now it's back on the map. Happy, can he get out? No, that one more Fiend will fall. He saves the Knight with the Staff. DK is running low. Sock is running this show almost at 60 supply now.
Oh, the Paladin. Dead on the Pally, exactly. There is the Staff. Oh, he can't get it out.
He just used it.
Oh, he just used it?
Yeah.
All right, then you can't get it out. But again,
go back. Just go back. Stop overextending. He has no TP to get out. Staff is down for a long time. He should buy a second Staff and just creep a bit.
He's getting so greedy. Seeing Happy at 44, quite rare to see that. Losing a couple of Fiends, losing a statue in this fight.
Why is Sock fighting? Literally no point. I mean, maybe he doesn't know that there is no Banshee transition yet, which, look at the production tab. Yeah. Double Temple back at home for Happy, but I mean, it's so late here. By the time he will get... And there's already Breakers. It's not like Sock's playing double racks with Mass Knights. He's already getting Breakers. Could easily add Mortars and even probably make something happen before that anyway.
It's kind of the development in this tournament just yet, in this matchup, that we see a Sanctum into the mix for the human and way earlier Breakers than usual. Not the full commitment to Knights Gyros, but always Breakers ready when you need them. Double altar in this game, actually quite smart by Sock.
You never know. Better safe than sorry. Finally grabs the Orb, but Sock definitely needs a second Staff. By now it must easily be back in the shop. Have reloaded that cooldown. I think he forgot about it. That's a big mistake.
Yeah, down the road, against Possession, you need 3 Staffs for sure. Happy hunting some more items. And that... What do you get? Oh, Unholy Aura. Man, we've seen a lot of people getting their own auras here. But okay, for this game, might not even be the worst. Sock is able to creep a little bit too, and that is now the next objective for him. He got the expo established, he got the tech, that is 2 boxes checked, and now levels. Levels, 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 levels. Stormbolt or Clap 2, Holy Light 2, Archmage 4 for the Brilliance Aura. That's what you need, and that's what you have to have.
Yeah, having such a big army here at 59 supply means that he's creeping even faster, right? With that many knights, you can really get those camps out of the way very quickly. And he's going to get the other red. There is some big item potential here for him. One of the Orc Auras or Unholy Aura would be absolutely insane for him to find here on that camp if he were able to get that. But it's going to be brilliant, isn't it?
Warthog Battle Drums.
That is sick.
Really nice for the Knights and Gyros, and maybe even later Mortar teams. They would benefit the most. Also the Devotion Aura, really nice. It's basically countering the Orb of Corruption by 50%. Penalty of energy for the DK. Nobody can really complain about items here. Banshee Master Training. This is the state of the game where nobody really wants to fight because the final upgrades for these armies are so close and you just want to get that next level up. But we're getting really, really close to that final late stage of the game. And it feels like Sok caught up quite hard in XP.
Yeah, I mean, with this big army, he can creep so fast. Also, Happy didn't even try to contest because he's the one going into Banshee. So he's what Happy's banking on is basically he don't have an expo. He's creeping a lot, getting gold from that. And he's just going to try to make it to his own 80 supply and fight 80 against 80 with Banshees to try and go for what I like to call the robbery, where you rob the human of his knights and use them against him. Because if you play human here, you're supposed to make, 4 to 6 knights max. Imagine if they all get stolen. Then the undead has knights against breakers. It's like the absolute dream. They're going to wreck breakers and you're just going to win. In this game, from what I can count, I see 3 knights right now only.
Yeah, and I think
4.
that's 4? Okay, that's fine. I mean, you can't stop possession with the staffs. You can't stop possession with Stormbolt. That's 4. You need a lot of Banshees with full mana. You also want anti-magic shell on your units, so you're ready for Clap and for Holy Light. You need a lot of Banshees, but Happy has become the best Banshee player in the world in absolutely no time. He uses them against Night Elves, and he crushes a lot of human with that when they are getting owned by their own knights now. Orb is in, that's nice. Took some time as well, but we are getting there.
Caught a flying machine there. AMS is going to be used. Happy means business. He wants to fight here. The mortar counts. I see 2 with the army right now.
2 are coming.
And one about to come out, born into battle here.
Yeah, that's a focus fire, and then they're dead. Okay.
You don't need that many to one-shot Banshees, but the problem is that they get Coin Novads, which is what Happy's going to want to count on. Coin Nova the Mortar are still away at the Knights, and he's so good at it. The Banshee movement, you see he's keeping them safe at the back, but he's moving close enough to try and steal everything. Sok might have to just TP out here to make sure that his Knights don't get stolen. He needs to regroup with the rest of his Mortars. The Palace getting targeted. Maybe staff it out and then get out.
I think so too. That should be the plan. He wants to save on that TP to not waste another 325 gold. The Mortar team, though, a little suicidal. Little bit of experience. And man, he sees this mass amount of Banshees. That means in this army, there's not too much damage except Coil Nova. There's like 4 Fiends or something, but the Banshees are what does the trick, and nobody really found the answer to the mass Banshee play.
Yeah, it should be within Mortars and Breakers, even as in a fire now, technically. Which, because there is no destroyers out on the field. I mean, yes, he could morph some, but he has only 3 statues, so technically he should only be able to morph 1. So then what if you mass in a fire your army? You're going to make Happy's life miserable in that fight. But yeah, those Banshees, they have a high stealing potential here. Let's see if Happy can make it work. It was pretty smart by Sok to delay the fight this much, but now he needs to be on point with the micro. Bolt one of the Banshees, sends the Mortar. Send the Mortar to start landing those big shots on them. 1 shot, 1 volley, the Banshees. That's why Happy's diving the backline, the Mortars here. He's trying to nuke them out of there as he steals the Knights. One of them being possessed, 2 of them. Is their staffs on time?
Oh, cancels a lot of these possessions. The Mountain King is going ham with the Banshee backline. We have the first successful possession indeed. Nuke on the Archmage. The shop, of course, was torn down, but Archmage, man, they are changing positions basically. But now it's time for these Mortars to die. Good retreat here in general. Happy down to 61. The 10 supply advantage for Sok remains. He has to fight his own units now, but the HP of the Pit Lord goes down. Paladin still looking strong, and Happy seemingly having some issues here.
He managed to steal 2 Knights though. And those are going to be pretty annoying to deal with here. They get healed by statues. The Mortar at the back on the right hand side going to get targeted. Happy repositioning all the time. Statues putting in work. He goes for the nuke on the Mountain King. Those human heroes running low on mana. So are the undead ones. And hit points as well. Happy forced to retreat. His stock holding. Supplies about even. The next Stormbolt will be so scary. I think Happy might have to just get out.
He loses another Fiend here. Statues are also on the tech. Knights are super fast. And the Emperor can't crack Sock in this fight. This is, of course, not the end yet, but a lot of units are pretty low here. And Sock showing once again how amazing he can be against DK if you give him a little time. Fiend number 2 might be going down. No, saves it with the anti-magic. But Sock weathers the storm, and all of a sudden, Happy's not looking as dominant anymore.
He kited really well out of this position here and still manages to keep quite a few units alive, but it's 56 supply to 78, and there's barely any Banshees now.
Yeah.
So it's really go time in terms of remaking some Knights, remaking Mortars, and then if Sock takes one more fight like this time he's also going to have third Staff of Sanctuary, which is just bought. That's going to be so amazing to prevent those possessions here.
And I love that he's scouting with Gyrocopters, which he doesn't need in the fight, in the north to check, okay, Happy, did you buy a second a second gold mine? Are you expanding? Do I have to worry about anything? And he confirms, no, nowhere. Not the bottom right, not the 12 o'clock. And MK is coming back in with a dangerous, dangerous clap number 2. Can he reach the backline of Banshees again, as he massively did in the fight before? Knights are charging forward. The situation is getting a little difficult if there's a choke and the Banshees are safe, but so long, everything is looking okay for Sock.
Happy has too low mana on his DK and Lich. I don't think he can fight. He should just head home and try and heal up. He has a Town Portal to get out here if things get too dicey. He's going to read out an AMS to prevent some of the nuking. Can't get surrounded here. That would be pretty bad, but obviously he's got Unholy Aura. He can counter block against any sort of surround. He's going to use Frost Armor on the Fiend, immediately try and save that. Coil will help out, but thanks to the Orb here, didn't do quite enough. That, oh my god, how many Banshees is that?
It's a lot, but for how much longer? These Knights, by the way, 15 armor if Inner Fire is on them. Really hard to crack, even with Orb of Corruption, so you have to possess them to stand a chance. Lich got level 4, now Dark Ritual, of course, a little more mana, a little bit more Nova. But it feels like Sock is ready for everything, and Happy needs a plan B.
Does he? I think the Banshees is what he needs to stick to here. They're just the robbery. We're still trying it.
How much time do we have for the main bases? We are at around 800 gold for Happy, 700 for Sock. Do you have to take care of a third base now if you're the human? Is that the win condition?
I mean, on this map, the main and Expo mine out at about the same time. You see, they have the exact same gold for Sock, so he should be thinking about whether he wants to try to take a third base. He can also long distance mine, but then like you're really all in with your army. And Happy is the same thing. Like, by the way, I'm pretty sure he sold his altar. Now he's selling a Temple of the Damned here that he just unsummoned in the main base. So he's getting as much gold as possible. He might have considered selling some items as well, but I think the ring on the Pit Lord is so good for that guy to be like super tanky at the front while the rest of the army tries to do the job. So refined gunpowder being upgraded, so those mortars, they're going to have +2.
Gyros as well, if that should matter, but I don't think it does.
This is Cloud.
Huh. Is he going for a wagon to do some more damage to mortars? I don't think he can afford it.
Just for the one bomb.
Yeah,
because they don't die very quickly against this army, right?
Yeah, shouldn't be. Not sure if it's worth it. With wagon, you can spread it before, so you prevent the human from charging through a choke, or force the army to all get infected by disease. MK invisible. And here's the clap again, trying to weaken this anti-magic.
Yeah. The clap is there to somewhat like dispel, so to speak, the anti-magic on the backline here. Mortars going forward. They're trying to land those big shots on the Banshees. Banshees dancing around. Can he land some possessions here? Stealing 3 or 4 Knights. Oh my god, the Rain of Fire on the Mortars is doing so much damage.
Oh no, one staff used, one Knight taken over. Supply gap narrowing, and it's really hard to reach these Banshees. The Mortars are too far behind, I guess. It's total chaos on Northern Isles. Sock stemming against the lower bracket, of course. Doing an amazing job for the majority of the game, and once again, Happy can't crack him.
Death Knight is almost 5. He's 4.8, Lich is 4.5, so Happy a couple more unit snipes here. And he's gonna hit those very big levels that he really wants to be able to secure right now. Happy, the main's mined out, and he's not starting a Haunted Gold Mine. He just spent all of his golds.
The statues are empty, Todd. There's no region anymore.
Happy's trying to get one more right now from the Slaughterhouse instead of reinvesting into another gold mine. Pit Lord gets level 4. He's trying to kite his way out of this one. He's trying to force Sock to overextend, to go too far out. and punish him by wearing this army down here.
Supply is even, and Sock is chasing him. Hard to do against an Unholy Aura, we know, but Knight's pretty decent movement speed as well. The
Sock
game
starts on Expo.
He does, bottom right.
Yeah.
That's his win condition. If that works,
yeah, he's mined out in both the main and Expo here. They both got still really strong armies. DK level 5 will be so important here. And Happy's selling everything.
yeah, he's preparing so hard for this all-in. He can't produce any units anymore. Ziggurats all sold. A fresh statue is coming in. But this is 6 supply basically blocked with low statues. You do get 1 or 2 regions out, but really not the biggest value. And Sock, this is the last storm. Incredible performance increase by Sock from map 1 to 2.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. He buys a town portal. Oh no, wait. He sold a town portal.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not much point here. If you have to TP, you've probably lost anyway.
Yeah, you're dead.
So Happy's goal here was really to get as much gold as possible and at least get 1 scroll. I mean, the scroll value on this, right? Like the Mortar's gonna shoot the backline, the Banshees are gonna get low very quickly. You might be able to save, like, you know, the Knight, the Fiends, the Heroes. So scroll value, if you're able to use it on a lot of units that were injured, is actually insane. And this is it for Happy. I think he knows that there is most likely an Expo and that he has to break through this army now, otherwise he's lost the game.
Good that Sock has some gyros left. There's gonna be a couple of destroyers here. Clap once more. Last dance on Northern Isles. Who's gonna take the second map? The Banshees are getting hit way too much by mortars, I feel. Possession is coming in. Can he staff?
He lost the Archmage! It got blown up instantly. He was a little bit too far forward here. Almost telegraphed as well, because that was clearly being targeted, but Sock reacted a little slowly here.
Oh no, that can't happen in these fights, and all of a sudden the Knights, it is the big robbery. Finally, 3 on Happy's side. Supply somewhat still even.
And without brilliance here, Sock is he needs to run to center, sell some items, and rebuy the Archmage, I think.
Archmage is at the altar at the moment. 90 seconds. Can he survive these 90 seconds?
I think he needs to cancel that and make it now.
Yeah.
I was probably going to do that.
Does he calculate this correctly?
No, he's not. He's not doing it.
Seems like he's wasting a little bit of time, but Happy is of course not breaking.
He rebouts. All right, there we go. That's the orb. That's Devotion Aura provided from the Archmage. Extra damage, a staff. He even had Town Portal. He could have just Town Portal a little further back here at this Expo. But losing that was a big mistake. Sock has less supply.
He's going for the base raise. He's going for the base raise. There's not much of the base left.
Neo is losing. I thought Sock was winning this game for sure. I think he might actually be losing because Happy can just nuke whatever back line here. The Priest slowly, he's going to wear this army down completely.
I don't know. There's also Stormbolt, Holy Light. There's only 1 Banshee left.
Bro, there is Card 3 and Nova 3.
It's pretty good, huh? I'm not too sure. The Town Hall is still up. He didn't break it.
Happy has 2 Knights as well. Like, those guys are going to do so much damage.
One more mistake and Sock is dead.
And, I mean, I think he has to defend his base, but he feels like he can't even fight. He's trying to base race. I think he knows that Happy probably sold a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He might try to eliminate him, but I think there's too many buildings for that to actually happen. As soon as Happy is going to see Sock in his main base, he's going to run over. And Sock has no Town Portal.
Sock also has no mortar teams.
He can't escape. He might just attack the buildings to the end here.
Sock has 110 gold. He can build a farm somewhere. It's 5 buildings left, but here's Happy.
He's trying to leave. Nah, he has to fight. I don't think he can leave against an Only Aura level 2 here. He's going to turn around, try and take the fight here. Anti-Magic Shell was already used on the heroes. They're feeling particularly safe. 3 Knights working for Happy, doing so much damage. The Archmage getting targeted. And Coil 3, Nova 3 is going to put in work, as well as that Pit Lord cleaving away those Knights and Breakers.
Oh, against the Breakers, that really, really hurts. He's trying to go for the DK, who's somewhat surrounded. Losing HP. Is there a way out for him? Not really. If he throws a Stormbolt, that might be in for him. Passes the Invul, trying to at least... Oh boy, that was real close. Now the other heroes under threat once again. This Pally might be dead. So is the Archmage. Wants to reach, wants to chase. Holy Light, Archmage safe. Mountain King, oh, nuke again. Pally staffed out. He's out for a long time. DK saved, and the Mountain King is a real bro. Passes over that Invul Potion. Archmage will receive a Coil Nova soon, though.
Yeah, and because there is no Paladin around, that might be it. zones out the DK here with the Stormbolt, but the Mountain King is now being targeted.
Oh, his former brother blocks him and seals the deal. Happy has to fight a lot harder for the map too, but he gets it. Winner bracket final. We have the Emperor.